I'm Bob Bolt, here today with my wife and co-author, Paula Bolt. Thanks for tuning in to find out the details of our new book, Fleur du Lac, Stories from Behind the Walls of the Flower of the Lake. The rest of this video will go through those details of what's inside the book, including the images and the original artwork. But before you get into that, we thought you might enjoy learning a little bit more about the outside of the book.
Well, our primary purpose in creating the book was to tell the true stories from behind the walls of the Flower of the Lake. We also wanted to create a beautiful book that you would be talking about with your friends, as well as being proud to display on your coffee table or on your bookshelf. We started with opting for a 12 by 11 size, as you can see, and using a pleasing font of a good size for your eyes. And on that 450 plus pages, we display over 250 beautiful full color and vintage black and white photographs, as well as original artwork throughout. In building the book, we used several innovative concepts, starting with QR codes, which lead the reader to more detailed information on certain topics.
Such as this right here.
That could not be included in the book. Second, we created a timeline. A timeline helps the reader keep historical events in perspective. And finally, we constructed a website, a unique website available exclusively to the readers. And on this website, because Fleur du Lac is a continuing story, we will share with you the tidbits that we uncover over time in our continued research. We are proud to say that our project has led a acclaimed author, critic, and book reviewer to declare on her KMPH television show, Bonnie Hearn Hill declared, quote, "It's the most beautiful, most perfect book I have seen in years, maybe in my life," unquote. Pretty high praise from someone who has herself written some 16 books, has reviewed manuscripts for hundreds of books by acclaimed authors, including Pat Conroy.
So we hope you take the time to watch the rest of the video, where you will get much more detail about what's inside the book, including some of the stories and certainly a glimpse of some of the vintage and other photographs. But if you, at this point, are convinced that you're ready to buy our book, you'll have a chance by scanning the QR code that you can see on your screen right now. Thank you. Ever wonder about the rumors about the Godfather house, Tahoe's most mysterious estate? Activities behind those beautiful walls around the estate have intrigued locals and tourists alike for 90 years. If only those walls could talk. But now they can. In their new book, Fleur du Lac, Stories from Behind the Walls of the Flower of the Lake, Fleur du Lac residents and authors Bob and Paula Bolt take us behind those walls in the estate's 90th anniversary year with engaging stories and hundreds of vintage photographs and videos to tell the amazing story of this Lake Tahoe icon. You can read intriguing details such as the remarkable life story of perhaps the most important industrialist of the World War II era, Henry Kaiser Sr. You will learn how Kaiser stunned the construction industry by snagging the contract to build the largest concrete structure ever built by man, the Hoover Dam, and then finishing construction more than 2 years early and millions of dollars under budget. You will learn how Kaiser helped save Great Britain from being strangled by an armada of German submarines by building more than 1,700 steel ships ranging in size from 400 to 700 feet long each for the U.S. Navy, although he had never built a ship before in his life. You will also read how Kaiser is credited with putting the final nails in the coffin of the Japanese military by providing the U.S. Navy with the agile and deadly baby flat-top aircraft carriers that allowed the Allies to win the naval battles in the Pacific theater. In fact, in several national polls, grateful U.S. citizens credited Kaiser with being the second most important American citizen in winning World War II, second only to President Franklin Roosevelt. You will read the untold story of how Kaiser's wartime contributions and his friendship with President Roosevelt almost resulted in Henry Kaiser becoming President of the United States, which would have led to a very different future for Fleur du Lac. Yet despite being immersed in wartime production efforts in shipbuilding, aircraft, production, aluminum, steel, chemicals, and magnesium, Kaiser managed to have time to create and then enjoy Fleur du Lac as a second business headquarters for the Kaiser companies and for a bit of R&R with his family and executives. It was boats, billionaires, and board meetings. Definitely not your average vacation retreat. In fact, many of the most consequential decisions in Kaiser's storied industrial career, and especially his contributions to the World War II efforts, were made inside the walls of Fleur du Lac. The book provides the details surrounding many of those decisions as if you were literally a fly on the walls. But it wasn't all work for the Kaisers. While Europe and Asia were recovering from the ravages of war, the greatest boat racing rivalry in Tahoe history was blooming. As thousands of spectators lined the shores of the lake and dangled from piers to get a glimpse of the thunderous wooden boats driven by Henry Kaiser and crowd favorite Stanley Dollar. Those friendly rivals poured a significant portion of their ample fortunes into creating gleaming wood and aluminum boats powered by mammoth World War II surplus aircraft engines to circle a lake at speeds near 100 miles per hour. And as a special feature of this book, you will find QR codes that you can scan on your phone to see or hear additional information, including in this case, you can actually hear one of those behemoth engines start up and run. The Kaiser-Dollar rivalry defined the golden era of wooden boat racing at Lake Tahoe. Debates still rage today about which boat was the most successful over that era, which race driver was most successful. Was the overall champion the Dollar or the Kaiser family? But after you read the book, you will know the facts of the Lake Tahoe Championship Racing Series during the fabulous Kaiser-Dollar era. You will also have a ringside seat for Kaiser and Dollar's foray into national and international boat racing. A dismal failure for Kaiser but a great success for Stan Dollar. But good times rarely last forever, and turmoil inside the Kaiser family resulted in Henry's move to Hawaii in 1954, and with it came the end of the golden era of wooden boat racing on Lake Tahoe. You will learn some of the ugly details of that Kaiser family disintegration. After the Kaiser family departed, Fleur du Lac entered troubling times. Two subsequent, well-meaning but undercapitalized owners left the estate in a precarious condition. But at least one event at Fleur du Lac in the post-Kaiser era is well known. Fleur du Lac was the set for the most successful movie sequel of all times to that point, Godfather 2. In fact, many tourists today still know Fleur du Lac only as the Godfather House. In the book, you will learn how Francis Ford Coppola chose Fleur du Lac as the site for the Corleone family epic, as well as other delightful tidbits, including 2 reasons the movie almost didn't happen, what had to be done to get the estate into Corleone shape before filming could begin, and 5 things almost no one knows about the movie. But like a phoenix rising from the ashes, Fleur du Lac was renovated and reimagined by a colorful entrepreneur after the Godfather years. You will learn the details of its remarkable rebirth. But even in the tale of revival of this icon, there are intriguing stories dripping with power, politics, and international intrigue. You will learn how Fleur du Lac played a role in the near failure of the Boris Yeltsin Russian government and the humiliation of an American president. So join us on a 400-page journey from Washoe Indians to Russian oligarchs, told through words and more than 250 images, supplemented by a dedicated website with still more images and remarkable vintage movie footage. You can learn more about our book by visiting the website www.fdlbook.com. Or, better yet, just scan the QR code you see on your screen to order our book right now.